From the beginning, Sileni Estates was about giving people a complete wine experience in an amazing winery building where they can explore not only wine, but also everything else foodie to go with it. It's all the vision of Graham Avery, who started Sileni after an illustrious career in medical publishing and then training high-performance athletes. His son Nigel is now following in his tyre tracks and is more focused on the family wine business nowadays. So, good bike ride this morning?
Oh, it was all right. I'm pretty ordinary, really, so it's just more to just get the heart going.
I'm just loving this weather, and it's just the perfect day to come and survey the land.
Well, it is, and it's a great spot from up here. We don't come up here frequently, but when we do, it is spectacular.
So being a man of the land is a bit of a change for you, isn't it? Because you used to be at the Millennium Institute?
Yes, I was for about 5 years.
What were you doing there?
I was looking after some of the high performance programs and the commercial role with the gym. So it's a change. It's a big change.
And what on earth led you to coming back and you know, starting work in the family business?
I think well, Dad asked me. Basically, he sort of needed a hand.
Oh, he asked you?
Yeah, he sort of thought he might like to retire at some point, and I know Mum was pretty keen on that as well.
Okay.
But I think he saw this being a longer term proposition for the family.
What do you get from the land? What flavours do you get in your fruit?
Well, I think it's the ability to ripen properly, because as we know, good wine is made in the vineyard, not in the winery. Although the winemaker's probably say they have a hand in it, and they do.
Yeah, they do.
But the Bridgepar Triangle wine growing area
right.
is being excellent for producing Bordeaux style fruit.
Okay, so where does that sort of start? It's connected to
so
State Highway 50?
State Highway 50, then
okay.
runs down along to Nataro Road and then joined through with Morakakaho Road, which we run onto.
Okay,
yeah.
So there's a very distinct sort of triangular
shape.
Yeah,
and so we actually absorbed that into our logo, the Sileni logo, being that is a representation of the growing area.
So that's what the triangle means?
It is, and then like for the triangle Merlot for the same reason. Yes, it's all coming together.
The man who originally advised the Averys to set up in the Bridgepar Triangle is none other than their chief winemaker, Grant Edmonds. So you'd spend quite a bit of time in the lab, wouldn't you, Grant?
This is where it all happens, really, in terms of putting the wines together and finishing them off to a drinkable stage.
So one of the things that the Bridgepar Triangle wine region's known for is its fantastic Bordeaux reds. And we've got a couple of them here, haven't we?
We have indeed. The Merlot as a variety is really why we're here. It just seems to work incredibly well on these soils. There's a little bit of body in the soil, so it retains a reasonable amount of moisture. And Merlot is a very drought-sensitive plant.
That is really velvety, smooth, warming, rib-sticking.
Warm and rounded, yep. That's what we're after.
It's just crying out for a casserole.
Exactly.
You're a fully certified sustainable vineyard and winery operation, and I've been in sustainable vineyards, but not many certified sustainable wineries.
Well, it's really just a follow-on from where they started in the vineyards. It's a matter of looking at all of your processes and your long-term effect on the environment, I guess. New Zealand is the first, and to my knowledge the only country in the world where it is now a requirement for all vineyards to be certified sustainable. Wineries now require that certification also if they're going to enter our domestic wine competitions.
Is that right?
And there's a very good chance that it will be a requirement for export certification in the not too distant future.
Wow, taking it seriously.
Well, I think it's great. As an entire industry, we've managed to get together and get everybody on board with this idea. And a lot of the overseas markets, the feedback on that is hugely positive. They love it.
Hooray for sustainability.
Good health.
Now the team at Sileni are extremely good at making white wines as well, and Grant has brought me out to his home, which is smack bang in the middle of one of Sileni's new vineyards. You know, Grant, this is one of my favourite parts of Hawke's Bay. You've got the ocean behind us, there's these rolling farm hills in front of us, and we're in the middle of this fantastic Pinot Gris vineyard. Why did you choose to grow fruit here?
Well, this is a fantastic site, and it's so different from where we grow most of our other grapes. This is clay soils, north-facing slopes, cooling sea breeze, works really well with the cooler climate varieties. We've found a lot of what we think are the better Pinot Gris in the country are coming from some of the warmer regions, such as Hawke's Bay. That's the primary reason.
And of course you needed a vineyard to plonk your house in the middle of.
Yeah, that did have something to do with it.
So like I said, I know you've got Pinot Gris on these vines. Is it blended into any of your other wines, or do you do it like a separate little special bottling of the fruit that comes off of here?
Well, one of the reasons we planted here was we thought this site had enormous potential for high-end wines, and 2010, our first crop, we actually managed to make a single vineyard Pinot Gris, which we called Park Hill, which is the name of the estate.
Okay.
And the end result for that has been a trophy on its first outing, so we're very happy with the results.
Of course, it's good being able to have your house in the middle of the vineyard, because you can keep an eye on making sure those vineyard workers are doing their job.
Yeah, that's not the initial reason we did it, but it does help.
Wow, I love the colour. It's kind of this beautiful straw gold. What's that aroma? Is that sort of like it smells like nashi.
Well, I think it's got classic pear, stone fruit characters to it, but it also has 45% barrel fermentation, so there's a
bit of a funky character in there, kind of slightly toasty.
Very much, a little bit of toastiness, sort of the Alsatian style, rich, voluptuous style of Pinot Gris that works really well on these clay soils.
Oh, I like that. Now it's time for a spot of shopping at the Epicurean Centre at the winery with Nigel in preparation for our lunch. We're going to start by tasting their famous Chardonnay known as the Lodge. When I smell it, it reminds me of the grapefruit tree that I used to hide underneath at my nana's house. And there's beautiful stone fruit characters in there and lots of creamy texture and spicy notes too. It's a fantastic Chardonnay, Nigel. Tell me about how it's made.
Well, it's made in like a classic Burgundian style. It's very well balanced. There's some oak there, but it's not too much.
It's not overpowering.
It's not, but it is a beautiful wine. It's my wife's favourite. So
is it?
There's
And she knows.
She does. Oh yeah, she's an expert connoisseur. But it's a wonderful wine. It's very important to us as a company. It's our most acclaimed wine internationally.
Oh, I'm not surprised. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And it's lunchtime. I'm joining Nigel, Grant and winemaker Rachel Garnham for some fabulous foodie treats to match these magic wines. Oh, steamed mussels, yum. I'm thinking Sauvignon, Grant. Would you agree?
You couldn't think anything else. With
fantastic.
mussels.
Oh, what are you going to have with your risotto balls?
Well, I'm thinking Chardonnay with these.
Oh, good. What are you going to have with your gorgeous pork belly? I'd be thinking Pinot Gris.
Yeah, it's quite a rich dish. It's got a touch of sweetness with the apple as well, so that'll work really well with the Park Hill Pinot Gris.
Fabulous. And Grant, what are you having?
Duck and Pinot Noir.
Great.
What are the options?
Well, it's a shame that that Graham is not here to join us. Most unfair. If it wasn't for your dad, wouldn't be here right now, would we? Everyone,
Cheers.
fantastic. Cheers.